Thank you, Producer Brandon. This is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here at 98.7 FM on the dial here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County, about 50 miles south of Nashville, 25 miles south of the borough, in the lovely, well, I'll say this, raining, really green hills of southern middle Tennessee today. And we got a very special program coming in here today with the Shelbyville Bedford Partnership, the economic engine here in Bedford County. And we have in studio this morning Jody Lambert, the chairman of the Shelbyville Bedford Partnership. Good morning, Jody.
Good morning.
We also have a couple of special guests that Jody's brought with him today. We have the Director of Planning for the City of Shelbyville, Tom Batchlor. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
And we have the Director of Planning for Bedford County Government, Chris White, in here with us today. Good morning, Chris.
Good morning.
Got a lot of talent in this room, Jody. So let's just start off kind of talking about, what we're going to talk about today, Jody.
Sure. One of the components of the partnership's mission is economic development and growth, which includes infrastructure issues. And
when you say infrastructure, what are you talking about?
Well, I'm talking about all the utilities,
okay.
Sewer, water, power, gas, and it's been a pleasure to work with both Tom and Chris on various issues. They've always been willing to meet with me to discuss issues, meet with others on various occasions, and I appreciate their willingness to do that. I feel that the city's very fortunate to have Tom and the county, Chris.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we're lucky in both areas, and I know that with a partnership, of course, you guys have a comprehensive strategic plan that I know you're going to publish here in the near future, Jody, and part of that is the infrastructure portion, correct?
Absolutely, yes.
Now, Chris, you've been the planning officer, planning director for the county for how long now?
This will be my 16th year.
Oh, my God. Is it? Wow. That's a long tenure, isn't it, Tom? So, how did you get in the business part of it?
Well, my first big boy career was like law enforcement.
I remember that. I remember when you worked for the sheriff's department here.
Yeah, and I came to Bedford County as director of the governor's drug and violent crime task force. That's how I ended up here.
Okay, that's a little different business than you're in now.
Yeah, but then right around I guess the early '90s, I had a sort of a family situation that pushed me out of law enforcement into real estate development. It was just an opportunity.
Sure, yeah.
And so for about 7 years, I managed a real estate development company in Murfreesboro. And then 2009, with the recession, I got laid off. And so...
Like a lot of other people.
Yeah, like a lot of people in that industry. And so I found myself, actually I just went back to college is what I did at the time. And I had started a defense contracting business. And then about the same time, the planning director before me for the county actually moved to a different state, and it vacated the position. And Eugene Ray asked me if I would be interested in the position based on my real estate development background.
Okay.
So eventually I agreed to do it, and so I've been there ever since. And so it's a unique situation having worked on both sides. It really gives me an opportunity to really, when a developer comes in, I pretty much follow, and I know exactly what they're trying to accomplish, and it helps me with people as well. People come to us, trying to do different things, various things. They want to carve off land for grandkids or whatever it is that they want to do.
Right.
And knowing both sides of that equation, I think, really gives me an opportunity to be a real service to the community, I think.
Well, I know over the years you've developed a good reputation, Chris, of being very open-door policy. If you come in, let's discuss it. Let's see. You're not just one of those kind of officers that says no to everything. Try and work out a solution, right? I mean, that's within the guidelines that the Bedford County has.
Yeah, I sort of view my role a little differently than I think a lot of typical bureaucrats do. And not accusing anybody of being a typical bureaucrat, but I dealt with a few.
You weren't looking at Tom. I didn't see that. Okay.
No, I sort of view my role sort of in two halves. a lot of, people listening are going to understand this, but the 911 board, we sort of view how that is broken into two halves, essentially what the state does and what we have to do.
Absolutely.
But I look at it, I view it in two halves. It's a very complicated set of rules that very few people have any reason to know other than me, right? And so, because I'm the one trying to administrate it.
Sure.
And in some ways, when I started, I think our zoning resolution was maybe 136 pages or something like that, and now it's about 400. And that seems, I think, to the average Joe, that seems overly complicated and like it's a lot of sets of rules.
Right.
But it's just the opposite. When in our book, and in I think most people's book, and I think Tom would probably agree with this, if it's not in the book, you can't do it. And so what we've tried really hard to do over the years is we've tried to create development standards for different uses that were never there and never in the book before. So having a comprehensive zoning resolution allows people to do more things. It just creates a set of standards for those things so that everybody's sort of not, one neighbor's not negatively impacting another neighbor based on those standards that we create, which is what those standards actually do, is try to let you do it. You just let you do it without impacting other people.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, taking into consideration. But how about yourself, Tom? How did you get in this business?
Well, it sounds like same thing with Chris, a little bit by accident.
Okay, all right.
I actually started out on the architecture side. I joined a small firm up in Easton, Maryland, and I was the troubleshooter. So I was the one that was trying to get my developments through. And then during the 2009, 2007.
So you were on the other side too?
Yes, I was on the other side. And,
so to speak.
And being in a smaller firm, I was able to work on all different types of projects, from estates to commercial, institutional, religious, and had a hand in everything. And most of my role was doing actual project management, solving problems to get these projects developed,
right.
Zoning enforcement. I've worked on everything from historic tax credits at the federal level, state level. And then when the economic downturn in 2007 through 9, I moved over into a small government role, and not in planning, actually in building enforcement and property maintenance enforcement.
Okay. All right.
In stormwater management, floodplain management. And when the planning director left, they needed somebody to move up, and that was my how I got into
Seize
planning.
the day, the opportunity.
Yes, and I actually enjoyed that a lot, which is when I moved down here during the COVID migration. I was a COVID migrant. I came down here. My wife was from Memphis, Tennessee, and
she's Tennessean then. Okay.
Yeah. So that was my. And I had never. I passed through Tennessee, but never lived here.
Okay.
I grew up in Virginia, and I have to say, go Hokies.
Well, he's talking about Virginia Tech, for those of you people who know what that is. But beautiful campus if you've never been there. Great school for that kind of thing. And, welcome to Shelbyville. I know you've been here a while, Tom, but
yes.
Let's do this, folks. We're going to take about a 60-second break, and we're going to come back and talk about comprehensive planning before it's over with.
Visit Kincaid Service Company today to experience the superior comfort of a Serta mattress. Serta has pioneered sleep innovation for more than 90 years, bringing quality products to more than 150 countries worldwide. Serta Comfort is validated by consumers with thousands of 5-star reviews and are designed and assembled in the U.S. at one of Serta's state-of-the-art facilities. Serta's award-winning mattress collections are created by providing superior comfort along with overall support and breathability. Get Serta Comfort by visiting Kincaid Service Company in Shelbyville. Online at kincaidservice.com. When's the last time you've seen the eye doctor? Don't wait. Whether it's little Carter's first pair of glasses or keeping a good eye on your vision health as you age, your eyes are a precious thing. See personalized care for the whole family and friendly faces at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care on 605 North Main in Shelbyville, across from the U.S. Post Office. Striving to bring you excellence in optometry every single day. Don't put your family's vision off. Make an appointment today at 931-684-2020. Personalized eye care for the whole family at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care.
Folks, this is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting here in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Bedford County. This morning we're talking with Jody Lambert, the chairman of the Shelbyville Bedford Partnership, the economic engine here in Bedford County. Chris White, the planning director for Bedford County government. Tom Batchlor, the director of planning for the City of Shelbyville. And gentlemen, before the break, of course, we were talking a little bit about you guys' backgrounds, and I think the city and the county, quite frankly, are both lucky to have you guys in your roles. But one of the things we were talking about on the break is, and we talked about when we would come back, is comprehensive planning and how sometimes a lot of things come up because it's reactive, because a problem comes up versus being kind of proactive and trying to head those off at the pass. I know you guys have completed what would you call that, a comprehensive plan, Tom? What does that encompass?
Yeah, so I think it was probably 2023, 2022 is when it was 2022 we adopted our comprehensive plan, and that was updated from a 2008 version of it, but it's our guidance document for growth and development policy, and it encompasses everything from preservation of resources, transportation, land use, and how they all interrelate.
Utilities.
Yes.
All that. And I know, Chris, at the county, you guys are working on a similar update, right?
Mm-hmm. We actually started the process of updating our comprehensive plan the same year that they did.
Okay.
But COVID hit, and COVID hit, and we were using the same contractor.
I was going to say, normally you use a consultant or a contractor to do that, right?
Yeah, we were using an engineering contractor.
Okay.
And out of Franklin, and it was a national size company, but it's the one that we were using was in Franklin, but they were further along than we were. And we had a bigger scope. They were sort of more narrow and focused on certain areas, and I don't think they included transportation. We had transportation elements. We had school elements because we're building a lot of schools. And
the county has the school system,
right? And then we also were looking really heavily at high-speed communications. We were looking at broadband because
which you consider a utility, right?
Yeah. So we have a lot of challenges in the area, especially in the more hilly areas. Is really difficult and expensive to try to serve those rural residents with high-speed internet. And we were looking, obviously, as planners, we look at opportunities. We know we're going to get a certain amount of growth. We know that the state predicts that. Usually, the predictions usually follow and pretty close in line with what the actual realities are, and so there's certain things we can do to sort of tweak the type of growth that we get, but we know we're going to get it despite any efforts that we make.
And Chris, you make a good point, and I know I'm interrupting here, but that's been probably one of the key things I've seen is you got people that are just like, stop all growth. Mm-hmm. Stop it. We don't want anything. And you really can't, in a country like this, you really can't do that. There's a Constitution. People have property rights. Yeah, so, exactly. And I mean, in our location, being close to Murfreesboro, being close to Franklin, it's going to happen. So I guess the key is, I don't know, smart growth. What do you want to call it?
Right. And we were just saying it's
going to happen, but let's control it. From the perspective of people
working from home, COVID brought about a lot of ideas and things that probably had not come to the forefront. Before that, we were just thinking about, doctors and people, they love to work from home. They need medical imaging. They need a lot of things where they require high-speed internet. Just pretty much architects, people that are looking at plans, intensive size files, and that kind of stuff. We were just looking at it from that perspective. Like, not only does everybody need access to the internet, but certain people need access to high-speed internet, and we just didn't have it. We were underserved in a lot of places. So we made that a priority in our plan. However, when COVID hit, it created a lot of challenges with that engineering firm. They had a lot of turnover. We just weren't making any traction. They were further along. They actually got their plan delivered to them, but I think, based on when I was talking to Waleed, there was a lot of problems with that plan, and they themselves and the planning staff had to tweak that plan and try to bring it up to the level that they were hoping to achieve. With us, we just got put on the back burner, and so it took us 6 years to get to where we are today, and we're weeks away from having a complete plan. We actually did a high-level sort of presentation to the American Planning Association last week. Tom missed it.
I know.
But he's got his plan.
Yeah. But one of the things we really concentrated on was trying to make sure that our plan latticed really well with their plan, especially in terms of like
it's kind of like a crosswalk,
bicycle and pedestrian transportation elements and that kind of stuff. And so we just really wanted to make sure that two plans really worked well together. I will say this, though, because our plan included the high-speed internet, and because it was such a focus for us, we just moved ahead anyway, and we did a lot of those things, and we did not end up including it as an element in our comprehensive plan because we did it. We were able to achieve it. We set the goal that we were going to be the first rural county in Tennessee to have 100% fiber coverage. We entered programs. We entered competitions. We were one of 5 counties in the whole state that got a grant opportunity to participate in a state program with the Department of Agriculture. That was I think a 30-week program or something like that. And
I think that's when we actually first started working together. Our first met was through the broadband group. I was invited to join that.
I tell you, it's been an amazing accomplishment getting that high-speed internet out, especially as you talk about, because we're such a hilly county anyway, so you can't. You got to run lane lines.
We're still not 100% where we want to be, but we have the funding in place through grant opportunities that we will get there.
Yeah, it's not, that grant's not over with yet.
That's right. It's not done, and they're not done building it out. So if you're out there and you don't have it yet, don't say, "Oh, Chris said we're supposed to have 100%." Now, we will be, and we will meet that goal, but that we were trying to achieve. However, there's still work to do.
We're a lot closer.
We've gotten over $12 million worth of grants.
I was going to say we're a lot closer. Tom, let me ask you this: as far as at the city, what are some of the challenges from a planning perspective or comprehensive planning, especially with infrastructure? What kind of challenges do you guys have?
Sure. So it was during, I think it started with the broadband when I started working, that I met Chris, and we started working on the thought of actually doing things more regionally. Okay. And my big thing, or what I noticed in our plan, had to do with infrastructure, and going back to what Jody was talking about with transportation portion of it, with the roadways. And recently, and it was started under my predecessor, Waleed, with the corridor access management agreements. And those are basically, we were working on, I guess in short, an alignment with TDOT, or Tennessee Department of Transportation, and us on how to manage our corridors.
When you say a corridor, explain to the listening audience.
Sure.
Okay.
It's our major roadways like 231 north, south, or actually in all direction, east and west as well. And it involved cooperations with Rutherford County up to Murfreesboro, as well as with Chris in Bedford County. And so we came up with these agreements, and now we have an alignment with the policies of the state, as well, even with TDOT, as well as internally, and we're all working together towards moving forward in terms of managing those roadway systems. And because I feel like that's a big part of it. Now, the other part of it has to do with more infrastructure related to water and utilities. Yes, and I know that that's not Shelbyville, but I'm also an alderman over in Ward Trace, and we're dealing with the water system there and trying to build a regional partnership with the water systems here in Bedford County. So
got to be working together. Chris, what are some of the challenges you guys are looking at the county?
Well, I don't know. How much time do we have?
5 minutes. Five or 10 minutes, Chris. As Mayor Ray used to say, you got 3 minutes.
Well, I mean, of course, we have a lot of the same challenges that the city has.
Of course you do.
We're just a different animal, and we have different sets of laws that we have to abide by.
And I think that's something a lot of people don't understand, Chris, is the counties are governed differently than cities. You want to briefly explain that?
Right. Well, I mean, they get their power from state law just like we do.
Right.
And, municipal governments have a much more dense development and a lot more people per, say, square mile than the counties do. So the state, in their infinite wisdom, I mean, the allowances for what a municipal government can do in terms of policy or regulation and things like that is just much more liberal than what counties have because we have more rural development. And so in terms of one item you would say would be right on the forefront there would be nuisance laws. So the city has, a lot of ability to enforce have a lot of nuisance regulations.
Got to cut your grass.
Exactly.
Or
counties.
Just simple example.
So a lot of people move here from California or other places where
out in the county
really strict regulation, and it's an eye-opening experience when their neighbor's not mowing their grass and they call and say, "Hey, we need our neighbor to mow the grass." And we're like, "Well, we can't tell them to mow the grass." Well, counties don't have the ability to even pass those laws.
Right.
So it's not like your local government is not doing their job and they're not trying to make you happy. They don't even have the ability to do it. So anyway, there's just different sets of regulations and different sets of laws that we operate by.
One of the things that we had talked about before the show was that around towns and cities, there's normally urban growth boundaries. Tom, can you kind of explain what an urban growth boundary is?
Essentially, it's something that was. Do you remember when that was actually adopted? It was like early 2000s, I think, is the one that we have now because we haven't worked on anything that's.
But it's a planning type document that goes beyond the city limits, right?
Yes, it's the projected growth.
Okay, thank you. Projected.
Yeah, it's where we're projecting where the growth of the city would be.
Is that something that has to be agreed to by the city and the county, Chris?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, where that goes to? Mm-hmm. Like, I'm not sure where the urban growth boundary is, like on 231 North. Is it like Frank Martin Road?
It's near decent.
From my belief is that the urban growth boundary on the north side has pretty much already been fully exercised.
Oh, okay.
They have other areas, around pretty much everywhere around the city.
The whole city, right? Now, which is typical for cities.
A lot of room for expansion, but when they just did that last annexation, for TCAT and all that, I think pretty much north of the airport there, it's kind of done. I think to go further north with the city limits of Shelbyville now, it would require a new land use study.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there was they mentioned it at the planning conference that somebody had just completed modifying theirs.
Williams County.
Updating theirs, I should say.
One of the things before we conclude the show here in a few minutes, and we did talk about this beforehand too, and I've talked about it on my shows a whole lot, and that's access to accurate information about what's going on. That's for you guys, but that's for both you guys, right? And that's just a challenge we have in any government organization. It's a challenge we have at the county commission. It's a challenge we have at Shelbyville Bedford Partnership. I mean, is what I try to explain to folks all the time, because what's happened, especially as a county commissioner over the last couple of years, people have started calling me and go, "Hey, I read this on social media. Is this accurate?" And I'll go, "Oh, you got to be kidding me. No, that's not accurate. That's not what's going on." So I would encourage people, and I'd ask your guys' opinion too, that if they see something or read something that just doesn't seem right, to contact y'all's offices to get to straight. What do you think, Chris?
100%. With social media is a double-edged sword. One, it allows you to have access to a whole lot more information than you normally would, but the problem is the access that you get a lot of times with internet or even with AI is very limited. It's not specific, and when you're dealing with the local government who's trying to pass regulations that are designed to improve the quality of life for people that live in the county, and then you have these social media warriors who get out, they find something out, and they develop some sort of belief about what you're trying to do, about the policy that you're trying to pass, that is wrong and it's incorrect. I mean, the best thing to do is just reach out to us where we can actually explain it to you, attend the meetings, not just go to the county. The county commission meeting is where sort of when we have policy,
that's at a high level.
It's high level, and
it's not where the work's getting done necessarily. As far as
Tom and I, the detailed work gets done in the planning commission.
Right, exactly.
And you need to come to those planning commission meetings because that's where all of the detail gets talked about, and that way you actually know what the motivation is. You know what the devil in the details. And the problem with that is when that's not done that way, and it's rarely done that way, you don't get good policy. It's difficult for the legislative bodies in either entity to pass good policy that is good for the community when there are people that are out there that are preaching that you're the devil, that you're trying to do things you're not supposed to do. Like the wastewater authority was intended to be a very good thing last year, and it didn't pass. This is just an example. People were saying that we were trying to take over their septic systems and charge them fees, and it's just things that was just completely not only out of the realm of legal ability, but also just ridiculous. I mean, nobody wants to do that. What we were trying to do was the state had tried to pass a set of comprehensive regulations for decentralized wastewater systems. They were unsuccessful at the state level. They couldn't pass it. They couldn't get it done. So they came to local government. Cities don't have decentralized systems. Not all. Well, Eagleville does, but I mean, I'm sure there are others does, but most of them don't. They have sewer. They have public sewer, but the counties don't have access to public sewer. At least ours doesn't. And so that's the only way we can build schools is to have decentralized wastewater systems. And Nearest Green uses a decentralized wastewater system. It didn't have access to sewer. So there's a lot of really good development, even despite what I personally feel like Nearest Green will be successful and they'll get through this. Even if they weren't to be successful, if they didn't survive it, and somebody will take and buy that property and they'll do something with it. It's a huge investment. It's great. So I mean, we'll get good things from it. But if we didn't have the ability to do it, we'd be in trouble at the county level. And so there's every reason in the world to regulate it. And that's all we want to do is say, okay, if they're going to build a decentralized wastewater system for a subdivision or any kind of development, we just want to make sure it's done at a quality and a high standard that will survive, because people invest in these homes and they invest in these properties with the thought that this thing is going to last them forever, and that's just not the reality if you don't have a good set of regulations and you don't build them correctly and you don't maintain them, and maintaining them is a big part of that. So we just wanted to pass those regulations. That's all we wanted to do. The other thing is the wastewater authority would have given us the ability to siphon off, let's just say the sewer company who's charging people a sewer bill every month, hypothetically $35 a month. But the wastewater authority have the ability to siphon off, say, $2 a month per customer, and then they could build a type of super fund where if the development was to get into trouble 35, 40 years from now when we're all dead and gone, they'd have the ability to make low-interest loans or whatever to the utility company and help rescue the people. That's the whole idea. We're trying to protect the public. And so we're looking at it at a high level. We're looking at it long-term. But when people that don't know and they don't understand and they don't ask, nobody comes and asks about these things. They just declare things.
You're a very open office too, Chris. They can come ask you and talk to you.
I never make people make appointments. I'm happy when they do, but if somebody comes into my office and if I'm not otherwise in a meeting, or if I'm just working, I'm happy to let them in. I mean, and I think Tom's the same way.
Absolutely.
Well,
if I can, I would like to correct the Facebook record that I did not bring in all these coffee shops. I don't.
You were the one that did that, Tom?
They said the planning department brought in all these coffee shops, and we don't regulate businesses in that sense.
Exactly. Well, I'm glad you set the record straight here, Tom, on that.
Long story short, just to distill it into, if we have a lot of this dysfunction going on, it wrecks our ability to pass good policy that helps people. And that's all we're trying to do. That's what our job is to do, is to try to make this place make Bedford County a better place to live. Part of my responsibility is to try to protect and preserve the rural aesthetic. Tom doesn't have that same, like I said, the laws are different, but I actually have, I'm charged with that responsibility. So I have to look out for a lot of different things that he doesn't have to look out for. He has to look out for the different things than I do, but we want to protect and preserve the rural beauty of Bedford County. And that's absolutely a part of our comprehensive plan.
And I think the lesson learned here on this discussion is, folks, on the listening audience, there's a lot of you out there. If you got any questions, you read something ain't quite right, contact contact you can contact either one of these planning officers, so they'll be more than happy to talk to you and let you know what's actually going on and what's the deal is, and provide your input as a resident here in Bedford County and City of Shelbyville. So don't hesitate to contact either one of these gentlemen's offices and get that kind of information. Jody, is there anything else you want to talk about before we go off the air, brother?
I just appreciate both Chris and Tom being here this morning and providing information to the listeners that hopefully will be helpful.
Tom, anything else you want to add before we go?
Well, I just want to thank both of you for this opportunity.
Absolutely.
As well. And it's always good to see Chris. It's like I don't get to see him enough.
Your guys' offices are about 50 yards apart, right?
We see each other a little.
He's up the hill, right?
Yes.
And, Chris, anything else? You good?
No, I'm good.
All right.
Anytime. And then our office is open, and I'll be on vacation for a couple of weeks. Start next week.
Y'all can come talk to Chris. Well, not yet.
Not yet.
He's going on vacation. But, hey, even government employees get vacation, right? So, yeah. But listen, gentlemen, we've been talking to Chris White, the planning officer for the county, and Tom Batchlor, the planning officer for the city of Shelbyville. We appreciate both you gentlemen coming in today. And I say this again, I really mean it. Both jurisdictions are very lucky to have you two gentlemen there working. And I'm glad to see you guys are working together because, like you talked about, Tom, the regional concept can start right here in Bedford County. So we appreciate both of you guys coming in and providing that information. Jody, we appreciate everything the Shelbyville Bedford Partnership is doing.
Yes, sir.
Especially with comprehensive strategic plan on making things happen. This is one part of it. There'll be more to follow on this and more shows about what's going on that strategic plan. Folks, this is Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting. As we always say here in Bedford County, tune in here because you can hear it straight from the horse's mouth versus in other venues and see what's really going on, because we bring in people here that are trying to make Bedford County and Shelbyville a better place to live and work. Scott Johnson on behalf of Hopkins Farm Broadcasting. Until next time.
When's the last time you've seen the eye doctor? Don't wait. Whether it's little Carter's first pair of glasses or keeping a good eye on your vision health as you age, your eyes are a precious thing. See personalized care for the whole family and friendly faces at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care on 605 North Main in Shelbyville, across from the U.S. Post Office. Striving to bring you excellence in optometry every single day. Don't put your family's vision off. Make an appointment today at 931-684-2020. Personalized eye care for the whole family at Dr. Hasty Family Eye Care.
Kincaid's is proud to offer Beauty Rest Black to our customers. Beauty Rest Black represents a leap forward in bedding with sleep climate technology keeping you cool, and triple-stranded pocketed coils give you luxurious support all night long. Wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day with a new Beauty Rest Black mattress from Kincaid Service Company. 400 Madison Street, Shelbyville, across from the Speedway gas station. 931-684-5662.
To the corner of the half, 75. Hey, this is Michael Hicks with Craig & Winters. Saturday, November 1st at 10 a.m. We'll be at 3014 and 3018 Sims Road, selling at auction 2 houses and lots separately, plus tools, personal property, trailer, farm implements. Again, that's November 1st, 10 a.m. at 3014 and 3018 Sims Road, just off Highway 64 West in the Bedford community. For more information, go to craigwheeler.com. Go, go, go!